Austin, you should try being annoying.
I am annoying, just in different ways.
Or lispy and unclear like me.
Speaking of me being annoying, I played Fallout 76 Nuclear Winter last night.
Oh, is that the Battle Royale?
Yes, that's the Battle Royale mode.
Did you win?
I did not.
What place
Did you come
get
close?
No.
Did Ninja kill you?
No. So
Sorry, I guess he was busy advocating sexual assault.
it's teams only. First problem.
Oh, yeah.
Teams only.
Four?
Teams of four. And I couldn't figure out how to turn voice chat off.
Oh, no.
So I had to listen to a lot of feedbacking and people smoking stuff and babies crying and rap music. People telling me that I'm bad at the game that I am level 0 in. And
That sounds
also, that game is balanced super weird because you would think, like, there's something to that, like, drop everybody in a Fallout world and then kind of just play Rust and kill each other, but they have the circle, I guess. I found nothing but guns. It's
So
all guns.
There's no melee weapons?
There's melee weapons, but what I mean is, like, it very much so emphasizes the combat
Oh, okay.
of Fallout 76.
The part of Fallout that everyone comes to.
Yeah.
So it's like you run into people and you're just like, I guess I'll shoot at them, but it's Fallout, so probably won't hit. You know?
Is there VATS?
No, there's no VATS.
Well, here's the thing, like, you ideally you would want no shrinking circle, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
the problem is with that, you would have people standing still for so
Yeah.
long.
No,
ambushing.
bring on the Battle Royale game that lasts days at a time.
Here's the thing.
I'm all about
I'd
it.
hate to bring this up because if you listen to our Destiny episode, or if it's not out yet, I don't know what order we're doing this in.
Yeah, that'll be out first.
Either spoilers or you've already listened to it. I mentioned Sword Art Online. Well, there's a spin-off in the second season. He goes into a gun game called Gun Gale Online,
Yeah.
and it's set up like a battle royale. The main tournament is,
Yeah.
and instead of a circle shrinking, every like 30 minutes you get a UAV that shows you everybody on the map. So if you want to just camp and sit there for a while, you can.
You can.
But if you want to win, chances are the better players are going to start moving towards the people they see. So like every couple minutes you get like some UAV that shows where everybody is instead of a shrinking circle, and that helps narrow out the
winning's
population.
overrated. It's all about griefing.
That being
Yeah.
said, it is the most fun I've had playing Fallout 76 ever.
I wasn't expecting that. Okay.
The shooting's not great, but they do that. So obviously there's no parachuting because Bethesda can barely make walking on the ground work. I don't know how they would make parachuting work. But like they have this system where you click on the map and it spawns you wherever you click. But there's a countdown timer of like 10 seconds, and then when that expires, it just flashes with everybody's spawn location and then spawns you in the world.
Weird.
So you can see where everybody spawns, but you
Yeah.
can't see it while you're picking.
Is there like places that are more popular to spawn than others?
Oh yeah, it's just the same layout where there's like buildings that have a lot of loot in them and stuff.
How big's
Towns.
that map?
Not very big. I think it's only 50 players, so it's pretty
there's
small.
the Forsaken
52.
Fortress and the Turmoil Tunnel and
Tomato Bay.
all you had to do was match the letters.
Hello, everybody.
Tomato Town.
Radiation River.
Tomato Towers. Teetering tomatoes.
Tilted Towers.
Tilted. Kill.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hot Button. I am Randall Beatrice, here as always with Chris Anantuano.
Hey. Hey.
That was the best you got, huh? And Austin. I have Blake's List. That's weird. That's
my new name.
Blake's List.
Blake's List. That fits with my whole brand of hating myself.
So today we're not just going to talk about any old service outage. No, today we're going to get into what is said to not only be the most notorious data breach in video game history, but maybe in all of tech in general.
Yeah,
for
it's
those,
gotta be close.
Yeah, it's up there. For those who may not remember, back in 2011, Sony's PlayStation Network was infamously hacked into oblivion for literally weeks, affecting over 77 million people, which not only disabled them from participating in any online interaction, but also compromised private information, the likes of which no other platform holder has ever seen before.
So correction, and we'll get into it. Not hacked.
It wasn't a hack?
I'll get into
officially?
it, but it was not hacked.
Okay.
All right. Well, so there goes my whole.
It was and it wasn't.
Okay. Either way,
But-
no one has ever had to face anything like this.
God, no.
Yeah.
This is far worse than like a DDoS attack.
Yeah, this is like honestly also a lot of people not like it also provides fear into like the zeitgeist of hacking.
Yeah.
Like I think that's how extreme this was. You know what I mean? Like into the zeitgeist of my information is online. This has done a number. You know?
Oh yeah.
So, Austin, what the fuck happened? Because I recall this being quite the shit show at the time.
Okay. Preface this. We're gonna Tarantino this shit a bit.
Oh, cool. We're gonna do some hyperlink cinema.
I'm gonna start at the beginning of the hack. We're gonna go through the.
Wait, I thought you said it wasn't a hack.
I'll get there.
Okay.
Of the data
Calling me
breach. Then we're gonna go back and find out what happened after services were restored. Then we're gonna go back even further and find out why the people who did it did what they did.
I love
And then we're
Memento.
gonna flash forward again to the end
Okay.
to find out the lasting effects of it. Right.
Right.
So let's start with the week of April 18th, 2011. Which was a pretty big week in video games.
Yeah.
There were notably 3 releases coming out that I personally was very excited for.
Very
as
high
a lot
profile.
Of people were.
Yeah.
The first being Portal 2.
Yeah.
Came out that
Amazing
week.
fucking game.
Yeah, it was alright. I'm just kidding. It's one of the best video games ever. I gotta
So
say.
Mortal Kombat, the reboot. Mortal
Fucking
Kombat
awesome.
9.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the reason why Mortal
That was the
Kombat
first
is
one with
relevant
weapons,
nowadays.
right? Did that one have weapons? I don't remember.
No, that's
No.
going back to like PS2.
That's an older
GameCube
one.
era.
Oh, okay.
That was why they took out the weapons and made a 2D fighter again.
This
Yeah,
is the one in
okay.
like the modern blueprint. Like it was a retelling of the trilogy story with
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3. It was after Mortal Kombat vs. DC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And SOCOM 4.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Zipper
SOCOM was
Interactive.
so fun, dude.
Yeah, you're about to get real mad.
Ghost Recon picked up the mantle, though.
I know it, they did, which is why Wildlands is so good. But fuck, man, I loved SOCOM, and
Me
we're
too,
about to
yeah.
explore exactly why that series is dead.
All 3 of these titles with huge online components. Like
Yes.
it's pretty safe to say that that SOCON game was totally dead in the water because of this. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jesus,
And also, me and you were talking about this. Also, that Portal 2 crossplay feature with PC being so heavily promoted, especially after that big E3 reveal with Gabe coming out on stage, like it almost feels like the relationship with Valve has not been the same since. Like,
No.
yeah,
He
Absolutely
left
not.
the building, came on stage.
he came out on stage in the middle of E3's Sony's E3 conference to promote the fact that users on PS3 could play Portal 2 cooperatively with people on
Steam.
Like, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
He's like the Emperor in Warhammer. Like, you don't think he comes out of his throne very often.
He hasn't had many appearances and stuff like that, so that was a.
Yeah, he's busy trying to hack people's minds so they can play VR games.
It should be noted here that all of these games were said to come out on Tuesday, April 19th, 2011.
Yeah.
And me being the idiot that I was,
You pre-order all of them?
bought them all.
Yeah.
Went to a Best Buy, bought all 3. Luckily for me, and we'll get to why in a second, I bought Portal 2 and Mortal Kombat on the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
But SOCOM, I didn't have a choice, so I bought SOCOM on the PS3.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, I was such a big SOCOM fan that I decided to try that one out first.
Wow, I'm glad you got in there before
Yes.
it was.
I didn't play that SOCOM, but I did have a PS3 at the time.
I didn't get to play that SOCOM for this
Yeah.
reason.
So, fun story. So SOCOM 4 went online that Tuesday.
Yeah.
Servers had a couple issues, but they smoothed out by the nighttime, I guess. I played a couple matches and I said,
How was
all
it?"
right, it was fun.
Okay.
It was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Zipper.
But they're like, you know
They know what
what?
they're doing.
I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna boot up Mortal Kombat now and see how that is. I'll get back to SOCOM tomorrow.
That was your
Turns out
mistake.
tomorrow would have been 2 months from then because on April 20th, 420,
Yeah.
2011.
My man. My man.
Somebody was high because the PlayStation Network was completely taken offline.
Yeah.
Sony stated on their blog that they were aware of the outage, and here's their official quote.
Yeah, read it off.
We're aware certain functions of the PlayStation Network are down.
Certain isn't all of them.
We will report back here as soon as we can with more information. Thank you for your patience.
Par for the course for Sony, really, or nothing out of the ordinary, rather. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, this has happened before, but sorry.
Yeah.
No, I should have said sorry. More the functions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One day later, on April 21st, when everybody was recovering from their high the day before, I guess, they updated their
Yo, I had
users.
so much 7-Eleven last night.
They updated their users once again. While we are investigating the cause of the network outage, we wanted to alert you that it may be a full day or two before we are able to get the service completely back up and running. Thank you very much for your patience while we work to resolve this matter. Please stay tuned to this space for more details, and we'll update you again as soon as we can. This is all from the PlayStation blog, by the way.
And this is all
right.
2011. It's not like... I'm trying to think about this. It's not like if Xbox Live went down tonight, there'd be tweets about it. You can go on Down Detector and all that shit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This is kind of pre that.
So full day or two, or 23. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, yes. People were obviously upset. Just like I said, SOCOM came out. There were people waiting to play Mortal Kombat, Portal.
Yeah, especially Mortal Kombat.
And a bunch of
Yeah.
other games.
Yeah.
Those weren't the only games you could play, obviously. But
Yeah.
This was 2011, people.
people realized that obviously they couldn't sign in, which not being able to sign into a service is usually a sign of like a DDoS attack.
Yeah.
They take down the sign-in server, so people who are still playing can continue playing, but those who have to sign in have to go through a server, and that server is what they take down in a DDoS attack.
Is it worth explaining TLDR what that is
Okay,
for people who might
it
not
stands
understand?
for Designated Denial of Service.
Yeah.
And basically what it is which this was not that. We'll
That
get
may
to that.
seem like I didn't understand what it is, but I do know to protect my own masculinity.
Okay. So for those of you out there that don't, basically, when you log into anything, Facebook, Twitter, Xbox Live, Netflix, your credentials, your password and your username are being checked against a database, and there is a server handling those requests. When people are mad at a company, they will take a bot that has a network of computers and constantly log in with whatever bullshit they can, not even real
It's like an
usernames and
overload.
passwords.
Yeah.
And they just overload the server so that
flood
it
it.
goes down. And again, for those of you that don't know, you can't just hit a button and have a server come back online in seconds. It takes a lot of time to
Yeah.
get a server back online after it is brought down like that.
Yeah, shit. If you let the printers that are my work sit for 5 minutes, it takes 20 minutes for them to come back online.
Yeah. But, like I said, this was actually not a designated denial of service attack, because not only was the sign-in function of the PlayStation
Everything was
Network
broken.
was down, but everything was down.
That's
And
why
this-
you're like functions. I was like literally
yeah.
fucking everything that you could do.
This
Yeah.
included no online gameplay, obviously.
Yeah.
No playing any of your downloaded titles. So if you had anything downloaded,
Wow, you could even
couldn't,
confirm that.
you couldn't check any servers to confirm that you owned anything.
That's pretty bad.
Sony had a music streaming service called Curiosity. Bad name. It's
Okay, I
spelled
was wondering what the fuck that was.
Qriocity.
Is that still around?
No.
Okay.
With a name like that, are you fucking kidding me?
But that was completely down. So even people that were trying to listen to music completely,
Even the 4 people that were trying to listen to
completely
Curiosity.
separated from owning a PlayStation, couldn't listen to their music, which I guess, yeah. No account management service, no changing credit card information or anything like that. No resetting any passwords, no checking friends lists, no chat, no PlayStation Home, and no using streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and things like that.
Yeah, that really was everything.
Now
Is there
you've crossed
anything
the line.
left working?
No, the whole thing was down.
You could turn it off and play
And this
something else.
this included the Vita wasn't out, but this was PSP as well.
PSP
And
was included in this.
and
PS3 and PSP were the
Okay,
two
yeah.
affected, and Curiosity.
Q,
but-
Q.
The rover? The game?
Yes.
Yeah, they knocked the fucking Mars rover off.
But like I said, nobody knew why. It was weird because, like I said, it's not the quickest thing in the world to boot a server back online after it gets DDoS, but it's It doesn't take 2 days.
It's usually within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, it's usually within a couple of hours.
Yeah.
But we're on day 2 now because we're going to go on to April 22nd. But Sony was just like, we're investigating.
Yeah.
But people thought they were mad that they couldn't play their games. They were about to get a whole lot madder for a whole lot of worse reasons.
Imagine being a developer of one of those games to get that out.
Oh, I know.
I know what that must do to like affect your numbers.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
god, this killed
Things.
SOCOM as a franchise.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But finally, on April 22nd, Sony had prepared yet another update. And that read, and I'm reading this verbatim,
Yeah.
an external intrusion in our system has affected our PlayStation Network and Curiosity services. In order to conduct a thorough investigation and to verify the smooth and secure operation of our network of services going forward, we turned off the PlayStation Network and Curiosity services on the evening of Wednesday, April 20th. Providing quality entertainment services to our customers and partners is of utmost priority. We are doing all we can to resolve this situation quickly, and we once again thank you for your patience. We will continue to update you promptly as we have additional information to share. Now, they say they have additional information to share, but they won't share it yet.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they
that's
also
fair.
just admitted that on the 20th and the 21st, they were lying because they knew why the PlayStation Network was down. They took it down, and they were hoping to bring it back up and be like, everything's fine, and lie about the
Maintenance.
fact...
Yeah.
And lie about the fact that that there was an intrusion in their system, but then they realized that they couldn't. And we'll get to why they realized they couldn't real soon.
Damn, that's insane. Like, it was so bad they just fucking. I imagine somebody hitting like the red button. Yeah.
Spilled beer on the fucking.
Shut it down.
Yep.
They had the 2 keys from GoldenEye.
Yeah. 1, 2.
But yeah, people...
I just picture it's just like Crash Bandicoot and fucking there's another Sony guy. Yeah, it's just like we gotta turn the keys at the same time.
But people weren't too happy to hear this, obviously.
No.
You know, I remember... I'm also taking you through this step at a time and doing it this weird way because I want you to go through what I went through.
Right,
Because
yeah.
we're revealing this information as they did. There was nothing after that update until April 25th, the most important day of the year.
Is that your birthday?
Is that Flag Day?
It's my birthday.
Oh.
I probably shouldn't share my birthday, but then again, Sony shared it, so... The PSN was still down.
Happy
And-
birthday.
They posted yet another update. I know you were waiting for additional information on when PlayStation Network and Curiosity services will be online.
Gotta listen to my fucking.
I love how they keep mentioning that. So
I
it's
know.
like a chance to promote it.
Unfortunately, we don't have an update or time frame to share at this point. As we previously noted, this is a time-intensive process, and we're working to get them back online quickly. We'll keep you updated with information as it becomes available. We once again thank you for your patience.
Yeah, writing is definitely on the wall.
I
there,
know
isn't
the
it?
3 of you that don't use iTunes or download music illegally are really worried about what's happening here.
So the quote at this point is like, "We totally got attacked and we don't know what to do."
No, they're okay. So it's very important to note that as of right now, we only know the phrase external intrusion.
Intrusion, yeah.
That's all we know because
Yeah.
1 day later, on April 26th, 2011,
This is 6 days in now.
we get the granddaddy of all statements. Now, this might take a second for
No,
me
it's
to
cool.
read,
Drop the bombshell.
but I'm going to read this, and I'm going to read all of it. Thank you for your patience while we work to resolve the current outage of PlayStation Network and Curiosity services. We are currently working to send a similar message to the one below via email to all our registered account holders regarding a compromise of personal information as a result of an illegal extrusion in our system. These malicious actions have also had an impact on your ability to enjoy the services provided by PlayStation Network and Curiosity, including online gaming and online access to music, movies, sports, and TV shows. We have a clear path to have PlayStation Network and Curiosity systems back online and expect to restore some services within the week. That is an important line.
Some.
We're working day and night to ensure it is done as quickly as possible. We appreciate your patience and feedback. And then they have a copy of the email that was sent to subscribers.
Did you get this?
Yes, I did.
I probably did too.
Valued PlayStation Network Curiosity customer, we have discovered that between April 17th and April 19th, 2011, certain PlayStation Network and Curiosity service user account information was compromised in connection with an illegal and unauthorized intrusion into our network. In response to this intrusion, we have turned off PlayStation Network and Curiosity services, engaged an outside recognized security firm to conduct a full and complete investigation into what happened, and quickly taken steps to enhance security and strengthen our network infrastructure by rebuilding our system to provide you with greater protection of personal information. We greatly appreciate your patience.
That's a weighty response.
Understanding and goodwill as we do whatever it takes to resolve these issues as quickly and efficiently as practicable. Although we are still investigating the details of this incident, we believe that an unauthorized person has obtained the following information that you provided.
Oh, no.
Name, address, including city, state, zip, country, email, birth date, PlayStation Network, Curiosity password and login, and handle/PSN online ID.
Hey, real nondescript shit.
Yeah.
It is also possible that
I
profile
mean, that's no different than anything that PLA can get nowadays. But
It is also possible that your profile data, including purchase history and billing address, and your PlayStation Network Curiosity password security answers may have been obtained.
Oh, God.
If you authorize a sub account for a dependent, the same data with respect to your dependent may have been obtained. While there's no evidence at this time that credit card data was taken, we cannot rule out the possibility.
Oh.
If you have provided your credit card data through PlayStation Network or Curiosity, out of an abundance of caution, we are advising that your credit card number, including security code and expiration date, may have been obtained.
precaution.
For your security, this gets so much better. For your security, we encourage you to be especially aware of email, telephone, and post-mail scams that ask for personal or sensitive information. Sony will not contact you in any way, including by email, asking for any credit card number, social security number, or other personally identified information. If you were asked for this information, you can be confident Sony is not the entity asking. When the PlayStation Network and Curiosity services are fully restored, we strongly recommend that you log on and change your password. Additionally, if you use PlayStation Network and Curiosity username or password or for any other unrelated services or accounts, we strongly recommend you change them as well.
They also got a list of your fears. It was really weird.
I'm not going to read this whole thing, but to protect against possible identity theft or other financial loss, we encourage you to remain vigilant. Review your account statements, monitor your credit reports. We will provide you the following information for those who wish to consider it. And then there is a bunch of links to Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, consumer.gov/ID theft, a bunch of other state and federal organizations that deal with identity theft and credit reporting and fraud.
And they waited to reveal this, too.
Yes.
To be honest, absolutely thorough, and props to whoever wrote that.
It's transparent, but way too late. You don't tell people, a week in that their fucking personal information might be at stake.
They might have not have known.
They might have not have known, okay?
Yeah.
They might have not known the extent of it, and also, in that case, it's not I think you have to think about what could happen. How many days after is this? You know what I mean?
So this
week
would have been
or something?
this would have been 6 days.
6 days. Think about what needs to happen in order for a credit card scam to get a hold of you. There'd have to be some sort of person who runs a credit card scam would have to buy the information from some sort of black market source who provided it. I think they saw a week as a responsible time to kind of answer.
You're still in lawsuit territory.
Absolutely you
Yeah.
are. But I think, to be honest, and they handled it probably as well as they could.
Whoever wrote that statement and released the information, they probably released it as soon as they could after they prepared that statement. That is not the shitty part.
Yeah.
We will get to why Sony deserves all the flack in the world for this.
Right, yeah.
But it is not necessarily for this statement, although they may be fined and or sued for it later. We'll get there. But yeah, like I said when I was reading that, the most important line for you guys to remember out there, we have a clear path to have PlayStation Network and Curiosity systems back online and expect to restore some services within a week.
Yeah.
This is April 26th, 2011. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Okay? Because that is
I'm
all...
holding out on my curiosity.
I had Curiosity for a month.
You and Rich and Linda and all the other one.
So that is all we would hear from Sony until May.
May 2021. As we know, Sony is still down.
On May 1st, Sony announces the Welcome Back program.
I like, yeah, that name is.
Sony would be offering free games to people as compensation and 30 days of free membership to PlayStation Plus.
Woo!
That would be added an additional 30 days if you already had PlayStation Plus. You would get an
wasn't
additional.
it a choice of free games?
This fixes everything.
Yeah, okay.
You would get an additional 30 days of Curiosity if you were one of 4 people who subscribed to Curiosity.
You'll get into those games later, yeah.
Sony also was offering identity theft protection to any affected users.
I would imagine so.
Here's the kicker. It turns out that no information in the PlayStation databases was encrypted, meaning that names, addresses, phone numbers, and even passwords were stored in plain text.
Ouch.
Now there is a
I assume that's
There are
not how
quotes-
other services
No,
do
God,
not
no.
store
Fucking
that.
amateur hour.
Yeah,
Are
your
you
customer
kidding me?
information that
There
way.
are quotes from Sony that say that the passwords were not encrypted, but that they were hashed. And then there are quotes from the hackers that say that the passwords were indeed stored in plain text. So I guess we'll never know. But Sony claims that the passwords were hashed. Why you would go through that trouble and not just encrypt them, I don't know.
Yeah.
But luckily, Sony did decide to encrypt credit card info, meaning that the 10 million credit cards saved in its system were stolen, would likely not be used for anything.
Fuck. Can you
Still, this is a
What
fucking.
would
This is an almost 80-year-old technology company,
Yeah.
and they're fucking hiding their user data in plain text.
What would have been the repercussions, though, if that credit card information was stored in the same way everything else was? Like, I know both me and you had payment options stored on there at the time.
And I did as well.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
They would have been screwed.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
fucking
could have
A.
been some end of the company like shit.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
If that many people's information was stolen,
Oof.
Sony would be done for as a company entirely, I think. There would have been
If-
so many more lawsuits.
Yeah.
Because we'll get to how much money this thing lost them, and that would have been a speck in the pan or whatever the phrase is compared to what they would have lost if they had given away people's credit card info.
Yeah.
Flash in the pan.
Flash in the pan. Thank you.
I like a speck in the pan.
Yeah. Also, again, Sony reiterated the point that they were rebuilding systems, and they clarified this to mean that they are rebuilding the entirety of the PSN.
Gotta
Which
protect
is-
that
sucks.
image of this ever, like...
Which is why it is taking so
It's ever
long
happening
for them
ever
to get
again.
it back online. But
I wonder how much this cost them in the end.
But they said that they were getting close and that PSN would be up within a week. Now, keep in mind, they said within a week on April 26th. They're still saying within a week now on May 1st, which is halfway through that week that they were supposed to be within last time.
Yeah.
But this is the Welcome Back program, so they can't possibly be wrong this time, right, fellas? Cut to May 2nd. We're going to go to a different company.
Oh, no.
Owned by Sony, called Sony Online Entertainment, famous for being the developers of EverQuest, DC Universe Online, MMOs like that. I believe DayZ. No, H1Z1. Sorry,
Yeah.
H1Z1.
Okay, yeah.
DayZ's Bohemia. But it turns out that the hackers also hacked into their servers.
Oh, no.
So, in addition to the PlayStation Network accounts that were stolen, 24.6 million accounts were accessed, exposing names, addresses, emails, birth dates, and phone numbers.
Not much left.
Again, passwords were hashed, not encrypted, but credit cards were encrypted.
Oh, never mind. Bring on the investigation.
So Sony Online
This is funny because this is incredible numbers in this time period, but Google does this in an afternoon nowadays, totally legally.
Yeah. So, yeah, Sony Online Entertainment Services were also taken offline. And then, 2 days later, on May 4th, the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Energy and Commerce held a hearing and called upon Sony executives to show up and explain what the hell happened.
Happy Star Wars Day.
Sony didn't show up, probably because they were a
What?
little too busy.
Oh, well.
Instead, they sent a letter. Kaz Hirai,
Yeah.
chairman of the board of directors for Sony Computer Entertainment America, submitted written answers to questions posed by the subcommittee about the large-scale criminal cyber attack. He told the subcommittee that he's dealing with the cyber attack following 4 key principles: act with care and caution, provide relevant information to the public when it has been verified. That's important. That will come up later. Take responsibility for our obligations to our customers and work with law enforcement authorities. Sony has been the victim of very carefully planned, very professional, highly sophisticated criminal cyber attack. Not true.
No, that's about
We discovered that the intruders had planted a file in one of our Sony online entertainment servers named Anonymous with the words "We Are Legion." Not true.
No. Yeah, like Watch Dogs.
By April 25th, forensic teams were able to confirm the scope of the personal data they believed had been taken and could not rule out credit card information.
ISIS did it.
On April 26th, one day later, we notified customers of these facts. As of today, the major credit card companies have not reported any fraudulent transactions believed to be as a result of this cyber attack. Protecting individuals' personal data is the highest priority, and ensuring that the internet can be made secure for commerce is also essential. Worldwide, countries and businesses will have to come together to ensure the safety of commerce over the internet and find ways to combat cybercrime and cyber terrorism. We are taking a number of steps to prevent future breaches, including enhanced levels of data protection and encryption. Enhanced levels meaning using
Literally
encryption.
anything at all.
Yeah. Enhanced ability to detect software intrusions, unauthorized access and unusual activity patterns, additional firewalls, establishment of new data centers in undisclosed locations with increased security, and naming a new chief information security officer.
What happened to that other guy?
Who's probably unfairly fired to begin with.
Yeah.
Nah, actually, I don't know. No, not if they were like...
And once again, they talk about the Welcome Back program, 30 days of PlayStation Plus identity theft protection services for their customers.
Yeah.
We're working around the clock to have some PlayStation Network services restored, and we'll be providing specific details shortly. 2 days later, on May 6th, Sony announced that they were in the final stages of testing on the new rebuilt PlayStation Network. But this post came with no updates or anything on time frame, just that they were working on it.
Jeez.
PlayStation Network, now with encryption!
It was later discovered that Sony had been working very closely with the FBI for protection.
Oh, our old hot button recurring character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that it was also...
Notorious for maintaining the privacy of the people they interact with.
This will come as no shock to people who can do basic math, but...
Not me.
It was also announced that the further testing, the final stages of testing that they were in on May 6th were going well, but they couldn't hit their time frame of being within a week of May 1st, which obviously, because that's 6 days into the week.
Yeah.
Sony missed a release date? I don't believe it.
And that was all we heard until May 14th.
That's quite some time forward.
May
Yeah,
14th, a week later.
Yeah.
PlayStation 3 firmware 3.61 was released, which set up everyone to be able to access the new rebuilt PSN, and it required all users to change their passwords on the original PS3 that they were created on.
Wait,
with
what
special
happened?
That probably caused a couple of problems.
with special steps to those who didn't have access to that original PS3.
What were those steps?
Email. It was a bunch of
Okay.
email verification shit.
Did you still have your original PS3 when that happened?
God, no. My original PS3, you have it.
Melted.
I do. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I was using when this
Yeah.
happened, because this is 5 years after the
Yep.
fact or whatever. Yeah.
I actually think I might have gone to your house and changed my name
Oh, really?
instead of doing the email shit.
I
I
do
think I
remember
remember doing
when
that.
this
Yeah.
happened. Yeah.
Then services were brought back on throughout May 15th, starting with North America and then throughout the week in other countries. The following day on May 16th, I forgot to write this down, but Sony Online Entertainment Services were also restored.
Okay.
And the outage was over.
So yeah, games were finally able to be played again at this point,
Yep.
right?
And
Okay.
I tried to play SOCOM, and nobody was playing it, and
Oh,
thus
no.
died one of my favorite franchises.
Not that just getting that up and running again would be so easy without consequence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Poor SOCOM.
Then they made MAG. Remember that?
Massive action game.
For some
Okay.
reason, because it's about the... I always confused Mag and Black. Because they had very similar like covers with like
They
bullets
did, yeah.
and things on it, I think.
Black was the Burnout guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on the original Xbox and PS2.
So let's go into the fallout from
Like
this
the
attack.
game
Like the game, except more...
that people could play without internet.
You couldn't play that Battle Royale back then. I'll tell you that much.
That's the other thing. Yeah, imagine if this shit happened now.
Yeah. I've thought about that.
That would have been crazier. It would have been way crazier if this happened now.
Yeah. The success of the PS4.
This breach was said to be one of the biggest data losses ever to affect customers
Woof.
in technology history.
That's some serious brand damaging and stock lowering news right there.
Yeah.
Sony was then investigated and questioned by the following authorities. In Canada, the Privacy Commissioner of Canada was questioning Sony executives and was concerned as to why it took them so long to inform users of their stolen data.
There it is. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Their excuse being that they found it out on April 25th and then prepared the statement and shared it on April 26th.
Okay. I keep forgetting that this is worldwide, by the way.
This
not
was
just
worldwide.
here.
This
Yeah,
was not just North America. This was all over the world. The United States, as mentioned above, Sony was questioned by U.S. House of Representatives subcommittee, but they were also investigated by the FBI as well as the U.S. Department of Justice to determine that if Sony was at fault for the loss of data of Americans, essentially.
And if they could prove it,
Yep.
man, that would be pretty bad for our friends at Sony.
And they were also individually questioned.
Remember what happened last time Japan fucked with us?
Yeah. Oh, God. Sony was also individually questioned by quite a few senators and congressmen, a couple of whom were just gamers that were like, hey,
Wait, really?
I have power. What's up?
Yeah. Why can't I play Mortal Kombat with my buddy? This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Gamers rise up.
Gamers rise up. But here's the only one that anything actually came from. Over in ye old England, the British Information Commissioner's Office questioned Sony as to whether they adequately protected consumer information. It was determined that they obviously didn't for not encrypting passwords and the like.
Yeah.
And Sony was fined £250,000,
How much is that in real money?
which I believe in Freedom Bucks is like $394,000.
That's actually lower.
Yeah,
than
they're
I thought.
dollar tags.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of money.
Considering.
Considering.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Considering the
surprising.
inventors of Blu-ray and proprietors of CD-ROM.
The Walkman guys?
Okay. In addition to this, 3 separate lawsuits that I could find, I'm sure there are more.
These are all
brought-
public record.
Class action lawsuits were brought on Sony in the states of Alabama, California, and in Canada, but all 3 were dismissed
Really?
or settled.
Lucky
I guess.
ducks.
I think they were all settled because of what I'm about to get to, which is basically the Welcome Back program was like they were already paying consumers.
In what? Copies of Little Big Planet?
Yeah, spoilers, dude.
Great game.
No evidence of credit card fraud was actually found, but Sony took a $1 million insurance policy out on its users just in case, because 5.6 million encrypted credit card numbers were confirmed to be stolen.
Wow, really?
Yes,
Ooh.
but they were encrypted.
Sure.
And nothing ever came of it. Even to this day, I can find no evidence. So,
Wow, yeah.
but still, they're lucky they encrypted that shit. I'll
Really?
say that much. Sony claims to have lost $171.1 million in revenue over the course of these, what would have been 25 days that it was down?
Holy
23?
shit.
I don't remember.
171
May 15th?
million?
The April 20th
That's
to May 15th, that's
absolutely
25 days.
Oh, it is
Fucking
25 days.
insane.
Yep. That's some cheddar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
In addition to killing SOCOM
Yeah.
as a franchise.
That fucking sucks for Zipper.
Yeah.
Because they pretty much went under after this, didn't they? Like 2012, I think they closed their doors. Like
Did they?
yeah,
I think so.
I think that was their last game that they got out. And,
That's a real shame.
yeah.
Well, yeah, really, like, just the lack of online presence killed them that much?
Well, I mean, think about it. The entire game was based around that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if you bought your Destiny disc from the previous episode and you put it in and it was like, nah. You know, like SOCOM is
Pretty
totally
much
built
did that.
Yeah, imagine if the next Call of Duty came out and then something happened that prevented people from playing it for a month, and in that time frame, 5 other shooters came out.
Yeah, like
what
everybody
do you,
just moved on to something.
what are you
else.
gonna do?
I don't even know if that last SOCOM had a single player component. Like I think it was all based around that competitive multiplayer. I'm pretty sure.
I believe it might have, but it was not very good.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah. Yeah.
And who's to say that SOCOM wouldn't have died had the PSN been working?
Yeah, maybe it sucked.
It wasn't as good as SOCOM 1, 2,
No, I mean
and 3.
it was,
I know,
but
I know.
yeah, it was on its way out, but that was still
They would have had a chance.
Yeah. So who are the chodes responsible for this, Austin?
Hold on. I didn't get to the free games.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
So as part of Sony's Welcome Back program, they offered players the choice to get 2 free PS3 games out of 5
Fuck!
options,
I remember saying, "Fuck you, give me all of them."
and 2 PSP games from a choice of 4. Now we're gonna go through all of the countries, I guess. I didn't know this. I only remembered America's. So,
I mean, these were mostly games you already had, I remember.
oh yeah, I picked the 2 that I didn't own
have.
yet.
I was about to. Yeah, after you read this list, I want to know what you got.
Okay.
Because I didn't apply to do this. I was too busy playing on 360 to like even.
Care,
Wipeout HD,
Okay.
Little Big Planet, Infamous,
Okay.
yeah, Dead Nation, and Super Stardust HD. Now those were the PS3 games for North America.
Wait, they had a different list for a region?
Yeah. So Europe, except for Germany, was the first 4 I listed. Except instead of Super Stardust HD, it was Ratchet and Clank Quest for Booty. In Germany, it was Wipeout HD, Little Big Planet, Super Stardust, Ratchet and Clank, and Hustle Kings.
What the hell's that?
In Asia, it was Wipeout HD, Hustle Kings, The Last Guy, Trash Box, and Come On Loco Roco, Boo Boo Karak. I don't know what that
You
means.
just had an aneurysm.
And then in Japan, it was Wipeout HD, Hustle Kings, The Last Guy, Come On Loco Roco, and Echo Chrome Overture.
Did you have to pick 2?
I mean, you could not.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, because I remember getting Infamous from this, but nothing. I don't remember any of the other ones. I already had Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
What
maybe I just got Little Big Planet and
Just to have,
Infamous.
yeah.
Yeah.
What did you get, Austin? Dude?
Hold on, I didn't get to the PSP games.
Oh.
All right, I'll tell you. PS3, I got Wipeout
Okay.
and Super Stardust because those are the only 2 I didn't own.
Was it worth it?
Super Stardust
This is
was
all
cool.
worth it.
Was it worth having my information leaked? It could be argued that it wasn't.
I had a PSP at this point
Yes.
as well, yeah.
PSP games for North America and everywhere in Europe except Germany. You had Little Big Planet.
Wait, on PSP?
Yeah. Mod Nation Racers.
I remember
Great
that.
game.
Pursuit Force. Dope game.
Yeah!
And Killzone Liberation.
That game was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting Mod Nation Racers and Killzone Liberation because I already had the other 2.
Okay, so sorry, it was two of each.
2 of each.
Okay.
From a list of 5 PS3 games and 4 PSP games.
All right.
Germany had Little Big Planet, Mod Nation Racers, Everybody's Golf 2, and Buzz Jr. Jungle Party. Asia had Little Big Planet, Mod Nation Racers, Everybody's Stress Buster, and Loco Roco Midnight Carnival.
You're making some of these up, I swear.
And then Japan had Little Big Planet, Everybody's Stress Buster, Loco Roco Midnight Carnival, Patapon 2, and What Did I Do to Deserve This, My Lord? That's coded in irony right there.
Wait, was the Little Big Planet on PSP really just Little Big Planet? Was it just a port of the first
I don't think
game?
it was a port. I think it was like a different game.
Okay. I really like Little Big Planet, but I don't remember the PSP.
Um,
What'd you get on Vita? Or, sorry, PSP?
I got Mod Nation Racers and Killzone
Okay.
because I already had Little Big Planet and Pursuit Force.
How much money is that altogether to...
It's
Like $40.
Yeah, it's like a sweet $50-$60.
Okay.
Really, really worth it. All right, now to the cause.
Okay, sorry, yeah.
We're gonna
I
talk
remember
about
who did this
Who
shit.
did this and why?
Okay.
Who done it?
Wait, there was a reason?
Yeah.
All right.
Hacker group
Dumb reason.
Lulzsec,
I thought it was just
spelled Lulzsec.
Lulsec.
Lulzsec took responsibility for it 1 month later on June 2011.
I take claim for a lot
And
of shit.
that well thought out, well planned, sophisticated attack turned out to be a simple SQL injection attack, which
Is that simple? I don't know.
for those of you out there that don't know, SQL injection is very simple. Basically, the way SQL injection works is that SQL is the language that you use to pull information from a database. If you know SQL, and somebody is not good at programming their SQL, you can do something that's called SQL injection. So basically, like, imagine I made a list of like hot button episodes, and on there I put a search box, and I didn't protect that search box or abstracted it anyway. You could go in there and type in a bunch of commands to cancel out all my code and then write your own SQL. And then basically what would happen is, instead of being like hot button Dreamcast and then pulling the database and finding the episode, it would cancel out the code where I said, hey, find this episode, and then you could run delete all tables or something like that. That's what SQL injection is. Yes.
So instead they ran like what? Find passwords, or they
just
search,
select star, for those of you out there that know SQL, from star.
Yeah.
Which is select all data from all tables, essentially.
Yeah, and then they just
pull all that data. Yep.
That doesn't seem
yeah. It doesn't seem that intense or complicated at all.
No, it was a sophisticated cyber terrorist group. You heard the statement.
Yep. But for their reasoning as to why they did it, we're going to have to rewind a couple years.
Which I still think it's funny. Like, lulsec doesn't usually need a reason. That's why they're called
No, they always have a
lulsec.
reason.
No, it's supposed to be for the lulz or whatever.
John Lulz and Reginald Sect.
I thought that was like the whole thing was just like fuck with people.
They fucked with people they were pissed off at, though.
Oh, okay.
And here's the reason that they were pissed off at Sony. So we're going to rewind to December 2009. A man by the name of George Hotz, better known by his online handle GeoHot, claimed he had found a workaround for the security in the PlayStation 3. Now, you probably don't know who this is, but you will know his work. He is famous for being the first person to jailbreak the iPhone.
Yeah, holy shit.
Nice.
I saw that in here,
Yes.
and I did not realize it was that guy. That's pretty
Yes.
fucking crazy.
So he is also the person who led to the legislation that basically said jailbreaking stuff is legal.
Is legal.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was the one that led to the incident that the government decided to make jailbreaking stuff legal instead of making it illegal.
That's crazy.
Every single iPhone I've ever had has been jailbroken, and it's incredible.
You're going to get dragged away.
Thanks. I'm just thanking him.
But going back to the PS3, he posted on January 22nd of 2010 that he had his workaround working, that he could gain access to the root functions of the PlayStation 3, but that he couldn't gain access to the graphics card quite just yet. There was some extra level of security on there.
Okay.
But in order to do this, he used a feature that the PlayStation 3 had called Other OS, which lets you install things like Linux on the PlayStation 3.
That was, as far as I know, like that was a pretty appealing thing for those original fat PS3s.
Yes.
But like I'm confused because like wasn't that a kind of like an advertised and promoted feature?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So,
or at least until that lawsuit thing happened years later regarding its removal anyway. I guess this is probably why it was taken out. I just realized.
He released his exploit on his website January 26th. And then on March 28th of 2010, Sony patched the entirety of the Other OS feature out of the PlayStation software.
Yeah. Whoops, sorry. I didn't mean to jump the gun a little there.
Yes.
And this is even before all that class action stuff came out.
Which put an end to the use of his exploit specifically.
Okay.
He dedicated himself back to finding a workaround, but this guy, being who he was, in July of 2010, he announced on his website that the security for the PS3 was just too good, and that without that Other OS feature, he really couldn't figure out how to get around it, and that he would be moving on to other technologies.
Moving on to destroy other technology conglomerates.
And people thought that was the end until December 29th, where the hacker group Fail Overflow,
With a zero,
gave a talk at the I Shit You Not, This Is Real Chaos Communications Congress Technical Conference.
Hackers, listen to me. Hire me. I'll give you so many better names for your groups.
Like, what the fuck is that conference like? Is everybody just wearing V masks or what?
I guess so.
Like, I mean, like, I was about
it's gotta be awesome though,
right?
right?
Kinda. I mean, I was about to ask if this is even legal, but I guess that Soldier of Fortune Hitman conference is a thing, so I'll pretty much believe whatever at this point.
No, it's legal.
Yeah.
And basically, the group Fail Overflow gave a presentation where they explained
That's so weird.
their methods for for circumventing the PlayStation 3's security. And with this information and the goal of re-enabling the Other OS feature, GeoHot hacked into his PS3 and published a copy of the root key. And the root key was basically a software key built into a piece of hardware that allows...
Is that for homebrew shit?
Well, it allows licensed software to run on that hardware. Okay. But when you have the root key, you can make any software licensed software. Which means that this root key would then allow anybody to make any homebrew shit that they wanted and run it on their PS3. Now, I found an interview with him from Attack of the Show where he specifically says that he made it so that the root key could be used in conjunction with his exploit, but that you could not use it to pirate games.
I mean,
you
I guess
could only use it to run homebrew software.
I guess that's one way to get around to like all the legal shit, kinda.
But that doesn't seem possible, though.
I don't know. He said he did it. I don't know.
What's the difference between homebrewing and pirating? Like, couldn't you suddenly be like...
Homebrew is like if I wanted to make a weird...
Your own game kind of thing?
My own game or like my own weird app for the PS3, I could do it, but this probably led to pirating.
Exactly. As I'm saying, you could just use that as a workaround.
I mean, that seemed more like he was trying to publicly come out to be like, I'm not advocating what you do with it.
What he does is kind of like circumventing that.
It's crazy that they gave him like that kind of platform though, like on Attack of the Show.
I was gonna say, maybe it kind of it seems pretty cool, to be honest. Like, this is kind of the inner workings.
He is not a criminal.
No,
I should say this.
He's a hobbyist, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. It seems pretty
cool. And a well-known one, obviously.
Yeah, here's how you can make your own game for the PS3.
And if he's just finding exploits and doing his own work, like, that's not a fault of,
Yeah. But Sony was not a huge fan of this, and they took a different approach to the way Apple handled it when he broke the iPhone.
Did he get sued over that as well?
I don't know. Maybe he did, but I couldn't find any evidence of that because it was just made legal.
Right.
But Sony sued both GeoHot and Fail Overflow.
Never mind.
Claiming they wanted all information that either of them published removed from the internet. They wanted records of everybody who had accessed that information before it was removed.
What?
And
some Beyonce shit.
Yeah. And the judge granted Sony permission to see everyone's IP who had visited George Hot's website, geohot.com, as well as access to his PayPal account.
Wow. Is that legal?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like now it's Sony on the offensive here.
The PayPal account apparently was PayPal's doing. Like they gave them access.
That information? Okay.
But his website was court ordered by a judge.
Jeez.
And the rest of the lawsuit was settled out of court on the condition that GeoHot would never target or publish any information about any Sony stuff ever again. And this is where our story loops back around. This whole litigation ended around March of 2011.
So they're like, yeah, go target our competitors instead. I bet those guys are all over the Switch right now.
Yeah, this ended at around March 2011. So you see where that lines up? So Lulzsec did this as a way to fight back against Sony. And then there's a lot of conflicting statements, but basically they all boil down to like, yo, you fucked up. Let us use your software for whatever.
It's a fair use war.
Sure.
Really?
Yeah.
And GeoHot, to his credit, released a statement on the matter when he found out that he was the inspiration for this Sony data breach. He said, running homebrew and exploiting security on devices I own is cool. Hacking into someone's server and stealing databases of user info is not cool.
I mean,
I agree.
No, I do too. I mean, it's not the most elegant statement, but it's still fair to the point that I feel. Yeah,
it's my shit. I can fuck with it.
Totally. Right to
I'm
repair.
not going to steal other people's shit.
Hell, this is how that one guy even got a job at Valve, and I know they're not the only company to have done that. It's.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of hackers out there who basically
he bought it. He wants to know how it works
with the intention of exposing security so that people can fix it.
And
because there are a lot of people that know how hacking works, but they're not out there to steal people's information.
No, this doesn't feel malicious at all.
They're out there to find out how to steal people's information so that it can be patched before people's information are stolen by the wrong people.
Honestly, you need people like that.
Yeah.
Is it still
Oh,
called?
God,
Is
yeah.
it like the hats, or
Gray
is that
hat.
just from the Hacker movie?
No, it is. So black hat hackers are people who steal maliciously and with the intent to use identity theft and shit like that. Gray hat hackers would be what this is, where it's basically like
You gotta fix this.
you illegally hack into systems, but with the intention of just exposing it so people can fix it.
Yeah.
And then a white hat hacker would be like somebody who is hired to
by
hack
a company.
Yes.
Okay.
Which philosophically could also be a black hat, depending on what you're looking at.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Austin saw that movie with Thor in it.
Hackers?
No. I know we can't go one episode without
Avengers?
quoting hackers, but wasn't there a movie called Black Hat that had Chris Hemsworth in it?
I didn't see that.
I thought you did.
No.
Oh, no, I don't think any. I don't know.
I think 0 people saw that.
I watched it. I'm sorry. I didn't see it.
Okay. That's all the information that I could find as to what happened and causes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there might be more information out there. But that's most of what's needed to kind of know. We're just going to go through some lasting effects real quick.
Yeah, what was the...
Two main
of
points to stick to right here. LulzSec, as Randy said, they were a somewhat prolific group of hackers.
Yeah, I mean, this was not their only...
The PSN wasn't their only go at things. They were also famous for hacking into Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
They were famous for hacking into EVE Online and the fucking CIA.
That escalated.
What's the balls on those guys?
Minecraft, EVE
Anyway.
Online, CIA.
And I'm certain these probably weren't the only ones, I'm sure.
Completely
that we knew.
unrelated, 4 people were found to be sort of the ringleaders of the whole thing. Jake Davis, Mustafa Al-Bassam, Ryan Aykroyd, and Ryan Cleary.
And these were young guys as well. I saw you wrote the ages
18
in there.
through
yeah.
26 years old, in that range. They were all arrested and sentenced under a number of piracy acts and computing acts. And there were tons and tons of other smaller arrests made under them. This podcast would be an extra hour longer if
you
I
just
listed
named
all
them
the
all.
arrests and charges and shit.
It's an organized group.
There's a lot. But to summarize, LulzSec was no more.
Damn.
Also,
Are they though? Are you sure? I feel like I've heard some things floating around after this.
they
but
still exist.
Just saying, yeah.
The idea will never not exist.
Right, but not in the same capacity.
Because they
that I
don't
guess
own, they don't
Ideas
legally,
are bulletproof.
they legally don't own the name LulzSec, so anybody can hack and use that name.
Sure, yeah, I
Just
guess
like
that's
people
true.
claim to be anonymous all the time.
Yeah.
But the people who, the ringleaders, as it were, are no more.
Okay.
Side note, if you couldn't tell, if you're a fan of Watch Dogs, LulzSec is totally the inspiration for DedSec.
DedSec?
Yes.
Are you sure they're not more of a representation of Anonymous as well, considering the more like
They're-
positive spin on it? I guess.
They're
Like DedSec is portrayed as sort of the heroes of Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs
against
2.
against this like oppressive.
I guess Watch Dogs 1 too. It's an amalgamation. So the name is definitely the
it
inspiration,
is.
obviously.
Yeah, that's true.
And the iconography.
Oh
of it.
yeah, like the
Of,
symbolism of
the
their group.
the
and
skulls and shit like that.
Yeah,
That's all LulzSec shit.
yeah, that's
But I
true.
guess their actions is more anonymous, sure. And then one last update from Sony's side of things. After all was said and done, they updated the terms of service on the PSN,
Yeah.
which were required to agree to this going forward. Basically, in order to use the PSN, starting August 20th, 2011, you had to give up your right to sue Sony for any future data breaches.
What the fuck? That's fucking horseshit. How is
Whatever.
that legal?
You're not reading it anyway.
Nobody reads any terms of service, but still, come on. Also, can I add one last thing?
Sure.
We did get the best gaming Twitter account ever out of this.
Which is
The CEO Kaz Sarai, the fake Twitter account that was born out of this. Rest in peace. I mean, I know that account is no more, but that was the fucking best.
That was great. He tweeted during E3 this year. He said, I just showed up at our usual spot for a
Where is
conference. Where is everybody?
Yeah. Have you ever followed that account?
No.
Austin could probably explain it better than me, but there was a parody Twitter account that was just listed under the CEO of Sony. and with this very silly picture of him from, I think, the E3 2006 Isn't it from that? Like the screen grab is from that, from the Ridge Racer video? And the $599 US giant enemy crab here. I'm pretty sure it's a picture of him from that laughing. And all it does is just tweet like parody video game news. And this is like pre the hard times, all this stuff. And it was always really funny because it was like from the perspective of
That's fantastic.
like this like
I like that.
it's really good.
And that's the end of our story.
Yeah, that's it.
Nice.
It's kind of crazy to me that this almost isn't a more of a story considering what's at stake, because I know you've researched every single thing that was available and compiled it all for us.
It's pretty
but like
start to finish, you know?
I know, it's just so weird to think just how many people were affected and how time kind of forgot about this. Like it's
there's a billion- I'm
it's
sure there's a billion
2019.
stories of
It should be
people
noted there were a lot of internet forums of people complaining that I found. I didn't include that, but
Sure.
Well, yeah, because
People
just like
were-
Austin has his own story about how he was affected.
Oh, I know,
I'm sure there's
but
millions
you
of
mentioned the
those.
thing that if this happened now,
Yeah.
like
people were very upset. People tried to sue. The law got in the way.
yeah.
People got arrested for it. Sony didn't really get blamed.
And this is also pre the PS3 kind of, I don't know, becoming more successful than it was. Like it's like the PS4 has so many active users that I feel like if this happened now, you would see the response
yeah.
would not be the same.
No. It'll also take a lot more to do it now, probably.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I'd like to think at this point that there are so many
I think
systems
they've
in
learned
place.
their lesson.
Yeah.
Sony's never gonna do this shit again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of our story.
That's it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
If
I
you
like
were
it. Nice
affected,
little quick one.
I hope you're enjoying your welcome back games still.
Yeah.
Still gonna play Killzone Liberation. I'm gonna get through it one day. Let's do some plugs.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at HotButtonCast. Our website is hotbuttoncast.com. That's got links to our Spotify, our iTunes, our Google Play, our YouTube.
Hopefully some cool stuff by
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Or soon.
And we got some fucking shit planned too.
Yes.
Like, seriously. Like, yeah, I'm so excited for
I
what's
know.
coming soon. It's
Yeah.
it's gonna
Keep
be
your
really
eyes peeled to all our social media feeds.
Yeah.
Well, those Hot Button one. I don't post on Twitter ever, but
good. Not to jump the gun, but I'm real excited to see your thumbnil. for
You can
this
see-
episode.
I'll probably post a couple.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of Photoshop.
I'll
Like,
probably post a couple stupid Photoshops on,
Yeah.
I do that occasionally on my Twitter. But yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Thanks for listening, and enjoy Little Big Planet on PSP.
Hackers Unite.
Gamers rise up.